What's it like to have Colton around Peter? Just for the team morale and everything given with one game left?
Well, I think that he's the character kind of guy that, we think everybody should be like, and, he does all the right things and shows the type of player we want, so it's good to get him back into the mix here.
The evolution of having that kind of role player out of the NHL right now, have you noticed a huge change this year in terms of how teams are playing or how players are?
I think a lot of the teams still have a physical presence. I think that the role of the singular heavyweight kind of fighter is lessening and going away, and a lot of the teams. But there's still a lot of physical players that can play, and I think that's still a big part of the game.
From your perspective, how did the decision come about, to give Colton this opportunity?
I think he deserves it. I mean, he shows the character. I mean, all the time he's had a bunch of injuries and a lot of things that have put him back. He's the type of guy. He showed the leadership early in the year, and the decisions were made for him to go there. But there's been a lot of discussion throughout the year about him coming back, and a lot of injuries have kind of put that in the back burner.
Popular guy, especially.
Very popular guy in the room, and we felt the character and the leadership that you bring is important in the room, and he does that on a day-to-day basis.
And what does it do for maybe the guys around him too, to see a familiar, friendly face, going into the last game of the season?
I think it's great. I mean, he is popular, and he is a character person in that room. I think everybody else all the guys were happy to see him, and it's a nice face to have to come in there, and everybody was smiling and to see him and joking with him, and so it was really good to have him in that room and on the ice.
Is that the part that's almost overlooked, is that those guys, for a team dynamic, having a guy that's willing to kind of lay it all down and be that popular guy in the dressing room, it does help a team?
I think so. I think it brings a lot of that, and I feel like sometimes you missed a little bit of that. We've had a lot of changes and a lot of different things happen, and I think that character and that sacrifice that players do, and we saw that in Sill, and a lot of times, the blocking of the shots, McWilliams, and the character that they bring in, the hardness, and I think that's all embodied with those kind of guys.
How do you go about using him on Saturday?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We still have a number of people. We're not sure what the lineup's going to look like right now, and there's a number of guys that are banged up, and we'll see what happens and who stays in, and we'll figure out the lines and so forth. Maybe by tomorrow.
What do you expect from your team Saturday, knowing the summer of change is coming up?
I was disappointed in yesterday's game. I feel like we though we're not in the playoffs, we should have put it more on the line, and that character of players that we've been talking about would push that and drive that. But I expect that in the last game. I expect us to be playing hard and playing for, now we're in Game 7. What we've talked about, I think that should put it on the line. I expect every single player to play as if it is Game 7. Everything's on the line and everything matters. That's the character we want. That's the kind of drive we want from this team.
It might be the last game for some guys. That might be in the back of their heads.
How should that change anything? Should that change anything at all? I mean, at any time, no matter the situation, every year, every team goes through changes. There may be a third of the team go away. There may be, there's always going to be changes no matter what. I've never been on a team where you don't have changes. But the way you play, the way you bring your approach to the game every single day shouldn't change.
Given with the losses you guys had prior to starting that 7-game series sort of mindset, do you think it's helped get those 3 wins? Do you think it's helped kind of focus the guys maybe?
I think that that there's a confidence to what we're doing, and the ability to play that way and win and have success doing it is important. And you achieve some of that with getting the wins on your side and winning those close games, and it's all part of it. You just need everybody to be on the same page, and everybody to be pushing and driving, and we did not have enough guys that were willing to start the game that way like it was a playoff game.
I've heard you say effort lots over the last little while.
You've heard me say that forever.
Yeah. What is that the biggest disappointment that comes with this team? Is that you mention it a lot and you just don't see it enough?
Well, it's the consistency of it is always a factor, and usually when teams are not where they should be. The consistency of effort is not always there. I mean, I talked to a lot of the other coaches that have gone through tough times and teams that have gone through successful situations, and it's always falls back onto the consistency of effort of a group, not just a few people. You're not going to win on a regular basis if you have half your team working and half not. Goes to the same thing. I talked to the Columbus coach last night. He feels the same way about his team. His team right now is all consistently working. He says, he smiled to me as if there wasn't, but I think that his team over a basis of team has been working and grinding, and they're all on the same page. And I think every team is capable of that. Every single player is capable of coming and showing up in the right way, and showing up like a pro, preparing yourself like a pro, and having the kind of attitude coming in where your teammates are the most important, and you know, the team is the most important.
Obviously, you have a job to do Saturday, but have you let your mind drift at all to what your future might hold? I mean, you talk about change, and there is sometimes no more unpredictable position than a coach.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has to think about what's going on in their life, but it is whatever happens, happens. And I've gone through a lot of things, and so I'm not going to worry about what I don't control right now. I worry about what I can control, and what the decisions are made, they're made.